A Thomson Reuters Foundation poll surveyed more than 330 gender experts in 21 Arab League states and found Egypt is now the worst country for women's rights in the Arab world, with sexual harassments and violence against women rapidly increasing. i24News correspondent Swibel has more on the status of women in the Arab world.
Sexual harassment, high rates of female genital cutting, and a surge in violence after the Arab Spring uprisings have made Egypt the worst country in the Arab world to be a woman. Discriminatory laws and a spike in trafficking also contributed to Egypt's place at the bottom of the rankings of 22 Arab states. This is the Thomson Reuters Foundation's third annual study focusing on women's rights since the Arab uprisings began in 2001, with the poll asking experts to assess factors such as reproductive rights, treatment of women within the family, and women's role in politics and the economy. This report comes on the heels of a UN report released in April that said 99.3% of women and girls in Egypt have been subjected to sexual harassment. Meanwhile, the survey said Iraq was ranked second worst and more dangerous for women than under Saddam Hussein, with women disproportionately affected by the violence since the U.S.-led invasion in 2003. Next on the list is Saudi Arabia. Despite small steps towards change in this conservative country, such as 30 women appointed to the 150-member Shura Council, the nearest thing Saudi Arabia has to a parliament, women still were considered second class, with continual workplace discrimination, limits on freedom of movement and property rights. Saudi women currently work to defy a long-standing driving ban. In Syria, women have become a weapon of war. Rights groups say forces loyal to President Bashar al-Assad have targeted women with rape and torture, while hardline Islamists have stripped them of rights in rebel-held territory. Syrian women in refugee camps across borders have been especially vulnerable to trafficking, forced and child marriage, and sexual violence. Despite hopes that women would be one of the prime beneficiaries of the Arab Spring, they have instead been some of the biggest losers, as the revolts have brought conflict, instability, displacement, and a rise in Islamist groups in many parts of the region. With continuing chaos in the Arab world, it appears that hopes of greater freedom and expanded rights for women have been thwarted, with this situation seemingly only getting worse.